And of course, that will be our focal attention point this morning. I'll be joined by Dan Orogo, his political commentator and analyst. Good morning, Dan.
Good morning.
Thank you. Thank you for coming on board. Of course, lively to have you because this appears to be a new twist in the ruling Jubilee Party political uncertainty. And Frederick Obwanda is political commentator equally. Frederick, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for coming. Now, I was keeping record of the papers. This is the Saturday Nation, and equally there is an important story about the political development in the ruling Jubilee Party. And also on page 19 of the Sunday edition of the Daily Nation, equally is another important story. And to just pick some. And in the Sunday Review, Ruto allies plotting a major fight back in the ruling Jubilee Party following that leaked alleged video that had in it the voice of Secretary General, that is Raphael Tuju, Minister without portfolio in the government, and also a former Member of Parliament talking about Kiambaa and what happened in 2007-8 post-election skirmishes when the ugly spectre in the post-election that is disputed elections engulfed the country. Gentlemen, good morning again. Thank you so much for coming. Dan, I'll start with you. We yesterday saw the ministers before the DC, and they said they never recorded a statement because there was no formal complaint against what was raised in the accusations made against them of the planned assassination plot. It appears that what brought together the president and the deputy president, William Ruto, and that catapulted them to power in 2013, which included the shared indictments of the crimes against humanity at the ICC, and the Raila Odinga fear factor is totally gone. And we are seeing now all appearing to be very clear when it comes to a near complete disintegration and a fallout in the ruling Jubilee Party. Is that the reality?
Well, good morning. It cannot be nicely put the way you've just intimated it this morning. And I think from your analysis, our newspapers have been awashed by the cracks that are now appearing within the party. And it's so evident, that the center cannot hold again, and things are now falling apart. That, that cannot be underestimated. But look here, there are very important twists that are taking place. One is we are getting so much into political quagmire to the point that we are beginning to mention the lives of, important people are at threat. Ayub, you and I, and Fred has been around and everybody, that this is a country that has been littered with the number of political assassinations. And these assassinations have been so detrimental to the fact that it has caused tribal division and very, very painful historical injustices. And this is what we've seen. Now, that per se, we are dwelling on a very, very slippery path. The fact that the life of now the second in command has become a point of discussion, that there are threats to either plot him from arising in power in 2022 or to the threat of his life. But then I asked myself several questions because I want to be very balanced as far as this is concerned. One is that the deputy president sits on a cabinet that discusses the national security intelligence issues in this country. Why is he not previewed to the fact that, put a very concrete statement from his own intelligence? Secondly, he is a member of the cabinet. And I'm being made to understand that he also chairs the cabinet in the absence of the president. These are matters that really needs to be discussed for us to know. And why would this be a fact that, and I would want to ask the president to come out clear. The cabinet meetings are chaired in a state house or a place that the president seems right for them to be chaired. It can be in state lodge or it can be in different state house or wherever the president thinks the cabinet meeting should be. The question is, why would 4 cabinet secretaries have a meeting somewhere to discuss, and in the guise of saying that there is freedom of association, and then there is freedom of speech. So these are matters that really needs to come out for the public to know. But first of all, it is important for the man who is in charge of docket for security to assure the nation that the second in command security is intact. Equally, the president needs to do that.
Okay, now given the developments, coming to you, Frederick Obwanda here, and looking at what has been happening ever since 2018 March when the handshake happened, it appears that Team Tanga Tanga, that is a faction that is allied to the Deputy President William Ruto, is straddling two stools here, in the sense that it's playing the victor card and the victim card here. How well can this act as the springboard point, in the sense that this plot, allegedly assassination plot, is likely going to be giving them the sympathy voice among the Kenyan public, because the party in general again has lost in terms of conveying the central message that is about the genuinely attractive logical policies they laid as manifestos in 2013 and in 2017?
Yeah, well, the news that came out yesterday that senior government officials are actually recording statements is it's a pretty sad state of affairs when you have almost 4 to 5 cabinet members actually at the Director of Criminal Investigations office recording statements of a serious issue like now a plot to kill the Deputy President. Yes. Where I'm coming from, I'm looking at it this way. We've been, as a country, had these discussions on, yes, the country, we need peace. The president is going out there talking about issues to do with bringing the country together, you know, reaching out to the former premier, working out a way in which even the BBI itself had peace as one of those really key things that
the 9-point agenda.
As the 9-point agenda. But then on the other hand, you have key members of your administration plotting things that are not in line with the agenda that you're actually going out there to preach. So it begs the question whether this country, are we really going to, as a country, are we really moving forward, or are we really playing a game of musical chairs? Because whether those people were planning, whether the cabinet secretaries were planning an assassination attempt, or it's yet to be confirmed, as much as at this point it's neither here nor there, isn't it? You know, the question still we're asking is, as a country, are we really being governed? Are there really plans as a country to move us forward, or the country is on autopilot waiting for 2022? Now, with regards to the team on the other side, my thinking is this story, it's rather too early to tell whether it will help in giving sympathy votes, because sympathy votes really can't take you very far in Kenyan politics, you know. I don't think so. It's still too early. Some of these things can just be managed as the team goes on. It may be a story that will probably last 3 or 4 days, and we'll move on to some other agenda that will come up. Yes. Okay.
Then when I come to you on this important note then, and you take a look at the country's history when we gained independence, of course, post-1963, and given the political developments in the aftermath of what happened, of course, following the happenings in the country of Piogama Pinto, the late JM Karaoke, Robert Oko, fast forward to 2019, and there appears to be again a reminiscence purge of what has been punctuating the Kenyan political arena in the early 1970s. Now, changing the constitution movement aside, because that will be another dynamic and completely different prism that we are coming back to discuss later. How do the claims made by the Office of the Deputy President William Ruto, but yet to write formal complaint, make the current situation and the past ones more acute, in the sense that this again is a dynamic factor to be considered by the bad guys in Kenyan politics? And to what effect will it alter the game plan of the ruling party in 2022?
You know, some time ago in this panel, we were working to the fact that the Deputy President, while is in a visit, I think one of the counties, the county, what do we call?
There was no security detail.
There was no actually organized and pre-planned security details. And I think from that point, we should actually get concerned. Why was he not provided with these security details? And the question back was that the principal secretary in charge of the interior say that they are not previewed to his plan and his program, and therefore it becomes difficult to be provided the security details. I think that should have awakened those who are concerned to the fact that there's some fishy games going around, especially to the provision of security to the VIPs. And that, what I am thinking, somebody should provide an answer to that. Now, fast forward, when we recently at the Acorino, I think this was just
that was about a week ago.
Yeah, when the president was so eloquent and spoke on the Kikuyu dialect, you know, speaking to the hearts of Mount Kenya region, that he's not just a small boy, and he's going to fish out for those who are derailing his plan. And I think it's now coming to fore when he visited, when he went to launch
Eldred.
Yes, when the MP was not granted an opportunity to speak in his own backyard. So I think the Jubilee, that's why I began to say that the absence of organizing for a parliamentary group meetings is detrimental to the unity of Jubilee Party. What only sticks together a party is when both houses can be convened so that they discuss an issue. Remember, even one of the senators said, even a youth group down in the village, you know, when it cannot organize for group meetings for some time, it rises to be unstable. It becomes a formal complaint. But here is a ruling party, you know, a party that has got thousands and millions of followers and 1,000 MCAs, a number of members of parliament, but has not, ever since 2017, has only had 2 parliamentary groups. And the third one was futile, was cancelled at the last minute. So I think it's quite important. If there would be an advice to steer the Jubilee Party, one of the things they really need to do right now is to call for a parliamentary group meetings to iron out these issues. Remember, it's not only ironing out issues for parliamentary groups, even the conflict that is within, even the plan to steer the agenda forward.